Hey guys, it's been a while since we did a breakdown. I'll be going back to the videos since a few of you has been asking me.
They seem fine though.
We
Why are there
yes, I'm
no side hands?
back to
Patrick, up!
figure out
Patrick!
where we lacked so we could get next.
Patrick!
Let's point out a few things that I noticed that we're doing better. Over here, we could see Chantel, and Chantel has historically struggled with staying on the correct side of her person. So we're forcing Flick like always, and Chantel over here is making sure that she's always on making sure she's always on the open side, not fighting too hard. Played a little too hard on those unders. We don't mind as much if she goes under. We care more for distance. So over there, we could be less reactive. 'Cause now that's a lot of distance. So over here, I'm noticing that we see. Let's use this one. Over here, we see Thea guarding her person over here, and then she's right in front of the frisbee and decides to set up something of a wedge. Over here, this doesn't work as well as if you were closer to here. Usually with our wedge, we want our wedge to be closer within 3 to 5 meters. 5 is a little bit too far. Just like when Kendra sets up her wedge, sometimes we tell her that, oh, Kendra, you're too far, come closer. Over here, this doesn't clog as much lane as if you were closer. So you would want to recover here a little bit faster. But that's still okay. But oh well. Okay, and then Kendra over here, you're doing a good job backing your person.
Literally
You won't find them
dropped
taking
it, boy.
Josh, come on, Josh, come on.
And the fact that you have your head up, also, you don't
Literally dropped
close
it,
out this hard on
boy.
your person.
Josh, come on, Josh, come on, Josh.
Especially since she's on that break side. You don't have to close out on her.
Set up your play, guys.
Okay, over here, the handlers, our boys, you're a little bit too close to each other. So JP should probably be where Josh is right now, and Josh should be close to the camera right over here.
Handlers move on sideline. There we go. Come on.
That was good
Sideline.
movement.
There we go.
Flip movement.
Go deep. No hawks, no hawks. First flat. Watching.
Right hand go.
Watching deep. It's gone. Nice IO. Continue it off.
So one
Continue,
thing I
Josh.
really like is the fact that
It's gone.
space is so important in frisbee, as we know. You see Kendra going for this attack, but then she realizes, oh, she's already at the sideline, and then she clears out, creating space. And you could feel that the flow of the frisbee is going up along this sideline. So we don't want to stay in that sideline. Let's say JP wasn't here. Now we could have Chantal or Thea do a cut this way. But we see that Kendra and Chantal are looking downfield, sees JP's momentum, lets JP go.
Continue.
And so now we get the attack with no clogging. And then the continuation cut right there.
Continue it off. Chili.
So that continuation cut, we brings two girls in. And JP looks over the shoulder. Over here, I would hope that Kendra bails.
Chili. There we go.
Oh, JP threw it to Kendra.
Chili. There we go.
Yeah, so I like that. And the thing that makes trouble is that Thea's super open, but because Kendra behind her brought her girl over, you could see that it feels like Thea is not open because there's another body, there's a jersey that's not purple close to Thea. So she doesn't feel as open, especially since the jersey feels like it's in front of Thea. This throw doesn't become as obvious as it would be.
Chili, chili, chili. There we go.
And I don't know how JP finds that. That was cool. But if Kendra continued to clear out and Thea went, that would have been an easy
Forcing
point
home.
for them.
Let's go hard D here, guys.
But
There we go.
looking back at it,
Chili, chili, chili. There we go. Chili, chili, chili.
I don't necessarily like this by E, but it would work
Chili,
because his
chili,
personality.
chili.
Then it would clog for that Thea. There's already an attack going this way, so E coming that way makes the attack less obvious.
Chili, chili, chili. There we go.
Okay, forcing home. Let's go hard D here, guys.
All right, so we're on the sideline, so a hard force flick.
Leash, guys. Looking E, looking E. Nice JP. Give them a leash,
This was
guys.
missed by JP, so this person goes to the center. JP's gonna trust Pat doesn't allow the backhand, and JP comes, takes up that up line, and clogs up.
Looking E,
But I wish JP called out to Pat, saying no
looking
break.
E. Nice JP.
Yeah, up.
Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Looking E. Nice JP.
Yeah, up.
Up, up, up.
Our team's a lot better at sprinting to get to the stack. That's amazing. It's those little
More
things
center. Cutters
that
move
make a big
first.
difference. Now the stack is ready for the handler instead of the handler waiting to get ready for the stack.
Don't be too far, guys.
Yeah, cutters
And
first.
this is good spacing right here. That's good spacing. That's good spacing. Gets a little bit tight by the end. So probably between Thea and Chantal, it should be a little bit bigger. But that spacing's pretty good.
Cutters first. Pipe, pipe, pipe. Good try. Just a
Went the wrong way for Thea. And I'm assuming it's a force flick. And the it doesn't go through.
pipe, pipe, pipe.
So over here, that path isn't great, Pat. You went around. Just take his back right now.
Pipe, pipe, pipe.
It takes longer for the time for your cut to develop. So we lost, let's say, a stall from that. And also, if you look at your defender's hips, you
Pipe,
don't have to
pipe, pipe.
flip as aggressively. If you cut from here, the defender would have to flip their hips so aggressively, and you would have a quicker round.
Pipe, pipe, pipe.
Oh, I think we thought it was ice because we could see here Chantal, who's 4, makes a cut, and then Thea reacts off of her. So I think it was just a miscommunication
Pipe, pipe, pipe.
of call.
Pipe, pipe, pipe. Good try. Just adjust, you know. Looking here, JP. Yeah. Watch the open side. Yeah, looking, JP. Looking deep. Up, up, up. Handlers move here. JP, yours.
So over here, you didn't have to pick up. Did they call delays? No, they didn't call delays. They didn't do it properly. You don't have to pick up. Okay. And at this point, this is JP. E. Just look at JP.
Handlers move here. JP, yours. Try, don't worry.
Nice try. Let's see how that happened. So Pat gets the catch, looks upfield, good. We want to see that movement. Throws it to Chantel. Frisbee's in the air there. Looks low. It's on the lower side. Probably knee level. And then unable to pull it
Try,
in.
don't
Nice
worry.
look.
Just a little bit more practice for Chantel and Pat more touch on the throw.
Looking deep, looking deep. It's good, it's gone. Yeah, watch. Whose is that? Whose is that?
So like,
Yeah.
look at their team. She's completely
Whose
open.
is that? Whose is that?
And they don't look for her. So against teams like that, and then
Whose is
oh,
that? Whose is that?
she doesn't get that open throw, but then she gets the throw later, and then isn't unable to. This is where, as our team, we ask our girls, hey, let's have our girls just start to play like a zone and junk up the lanes, right? Especially if we notice
Look for
that
the
our
fast break,
players
guys.
aren't
Never mind, it's gone, it's gone. It's there.
adding value to their team on offense. Let's punish them for that. And then we make it easier for ourselves. We don't have to run around following them. And we could make it harder for the rest of the team by challenging them even more.
Where's Win? Possibly there, right? Yeah, get that. Come on. Yeah, Theo. Secure your D's. Right.
I don't want shots.
Nice.
Yeah,
There we go.
that's a great ISO. So, as a handler, JP, let's look at the flight path. If you look at the flight path, you end up dropping the frisbee close to this back cone at the back of the field. Aim for the front of it. That way there's leeway. So Kendra could.
Nice. There
And then
we
you
go.
could see her curling back. There was no need for that. So that's on the touch.
Nice. There we go.
And then Kendra, we have to be able to catch that. So if you look at your hands, this would be easier to catch rather than a pancake, because a pancake is really good for when it's in your torso level, right? From your neck to your hips. But as soon as it gets head level, it becomes a lot more uncomfortable to catch. So it's much better to catch with thumbs down in the crab claw grip.
Get it back. Get it back. She's very good at those ISO cuts, but we need to get her a little more sticky. Yeah. Like she's
I like the support, Pat and Kendra.
ISO cuts right now. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Sophia.
Ooh, that's a big compliment. Eugene said Kendra, I think. Eugene said Kendra reminds her of Sophia, him of Sophia. So over here, we're closer to this sideline, so Pat should be more flat.
Nice switch. Beautiful. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a crazy switch right here. So you could see JP's already here in the in, and then he does a switch with E's person. So E just kind of shuffles out here, takes JP's person, and JP's over here and sees E's person coming in and just meets him.
Nice switch. Beautiful. Oh my god.
That's insane.
Nice switch. Beautiful.
And then Kendra's person gets it. That's okay. Put a lot of pressure on.
Beautiful.
So over here, you should have tried to get in front much harder, because the threat is more getting it back to the players, and it's more likely to be a short throw.
Beautiful. Oh my god.
With your marking style, Kendra, so depends on the person. Waving your arms up and down can scare certain players, but let's say I think this person is effective to use your arm swings, because she does look like she's scared with the frisbee. But someone who's less scared, just for future reference, the arm swing usually isn't as useful. Rather, trying to have your hand follow the frisbee and trying to get that block. But you could tell this person's also not comfortable with the frisbee. Mostly their team's not comfortable with the frisbee. It seems like Pat has their handler, So Pat has to be the most conscientious
Handlers,
when
handlers.
marking.
Beautiful.
That was a great double move.
Handlers,
So let's look at the mechanics of that actually.
handlers,
So
handlers.
he's asking for it, not gonna get it. Let's look at the footwork. So he's here. This right. So this is his forward moving, and then this step right here. This step is his trigger step. This is the trigger step, which triggers the braking motion. Plants, chops, explodes. But one thing that I've been trying to teach E recently is the explode is not off of this far back leg. The explosion should be coming off of this leg here. So you see how the power is currently coming from here? That's less efficient than if this is the main power step. Explode right there. And you could see how he gets into this strong athletic pose. This should be a little bit straighter. So if I were to draw a line, I should have a line from his head to his toe. But it's okay. I'm gonna ignore the head for now because he has to look. But if you see the shoulder to the hip, and then the hip to the foot, there's a small hinge, and we don't want this hinge. And there, it's a much better line. If you see from the shoulder to the hip, and then the hip to the foot, much less of a hinge. And if you notice, it looks like he almost goes right through his shoulder, which forces the defender to really twist his hips violently. And that leads to much better separation.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then let's look at how Pat times off of E. So the frisbee
Beautiful.
is about to be caught, and Pat is ready to take off. So we want to cut, depending on how far the route is. Let's say you have a little bit of space, you're not going yet. But this is a good amount of space for Pat to attack. So before E catches, right before he catches, he takes off. He's on step one, and E caught, and is able to hit in stride.
Beautiful. There we go. You guys move out. Victoria, shuffle back. Right, watch your man, JP. Watch your man here. JP looking deep. Up. You're okay. JP looking deep. Up. You're okay.
So good job, Joanne. Even though your person got the frisbee, I want to talk about being on the correct side, right? So we're forcing flick. So you want to be on that side of the person. But the closer they get to the frisbee, let me draw it out. So right now, frisbee's over here. Joanne, you look like this, right? Which is good. But I rather see it a little bit more like this if we're defending the unders. But what I ask most of our girls to do is to back your person like this. So we either want to choose backing or fronting. We don't usually want to be purely on the side. You're doing a great job staying on the open side. But now let's advance it a little bit. Open side backing or open side fronting.
JP looking deep. Up. You're okay.
And that's okay.
Great job. Great job. Up. Up. Hail Mary.
Where did JP's person go? So JP's person is this one right here. And JP is like, I'm not going to chase you to that break side where Joanna is defending. I'm going to go right here. And then it just so happened to Hail Mary into his hand. No problem there at all. Over here, Kendra, you could peel off just a little bit this way because Joanne is here blocking the spot where your person is right now.
Great job. Great job. Up. Up. Hail Mary. Emma, go for those.
Yeah, and it looks like Emma had a play. Even though he read that it was coming back into this person, at least make it uncomfortable. You jumping with them sometimes is enough to fluster them.
Emma, go for those.
So it looks like Joanne, your girl that you're defending, is trusted on their team. So this is probably a matchup that they trust a lot. So when she cuts in, she's getting the frisbee. So although I mostly ask to back our player, Joanne, you should be fronting this person, especially the second time it happens. Oh, they trust her. Let me give her more respect now. Yeah, so that should be a centering pass. Just be careful, E here. That if you're moving, just make sure that it's obvious that you're gonna move. So this isn't a great move right here. What I'd rather have seen, Pat, is so in football, this is a comeback route. You go here and then come back for just a little bit of yards. But this is acceptable in something like football because you could catch it for those low yards and then sprint. But there's no sprinting in frisbee. So this works if Eeg does the upline next, but he doesn't immediately do it. That should be an immediate give and go. Uh, if that works, that works, sure. But a route that might work a little better. At least, actually, no, this is fine. I just wish you brought it up to here and then caught it here for more yardage. And then JP could do the continuation. And then JP is also in a great position to do a continuation cut break side, especially since no one's on E.
Great job.
Now this should be E throwing to JP right here, break side. This works also. Um, but at this point, Pat, so earlier it was acceptable. Now it's not acceptable. Why is it less acceptable? Because the open side is a much smaller area and you're taking it, which makes this throw a little harder for E to hit. He's still able to hit it really nice, but it's about efficiency. And one thing that I like about this is um, if you see JP doesn't have to be asked to go deep here. He makes a valid threat and then is hit for it. So that's free cutting. That's cutting and knowing what spaces we're trying to attack. Can he attack open side? Can anyone attack open side right now? No, because Pat is over here. So because Pat is there, it's making it difficult for anyone to cut open. So currently we have break side as available to attack, and we have deep as available to attack. And JP decides to attack deep here. You can see Michaela call for it, um, but doesn't realize that there's someone over here. And remember, Michaela, when we're asking for it, we either have to be so open, like this girl is over here somewhere that we're calling for it, or we're moving, we're making a cut. But right now, this is not enough to be hit. And now you have to clear out, right? Because let's say if you weren't there, Pat is making a cut, but now there's traffic. Let's see what else was happening. So they do a good job. They send the two girls up. If it was just Kendra's person, I'm pretty sure JP would have hit her. But JP felt this person on that side and couldn't throw. And also didn't want to throw here because of this little forest, this little wall. Um, right now it's looking here. Isn't been able to hit anything here, but there's not too much to hit. And then Pat does another hit cut here. And by the time, notice how the only time we're able to throw to someone is when most of our players are in the stack. Because when most of our players in the stack, now it's so obvious who's over here without a forest being there. So one thing that we could have done better on this is everyone comes on the break side coming into the stack rather than Pat coming over here on the open side. Right? So if we all flood in on the same way, this place will always be open. So someone could attack it. Right? And I'm guessing Kendra could have been hit a little bit easier if Pat wasn't here also. And then again, Joanne is over here coming on the break side, and then E's coming here on the break side, although he's a handler, so he's more likely setting up here. And then we have two bodies over here, and all of a sudden the break side is the most open spot. And then it's only after everyone's come out that this is a valid attack. Over there, Jaron, why are you more backfield than upfield? You should be more here. And Josh, you have to be careful. Who are you on right now? If, let's say, JP doesn't know, and your person goes deep, now you get burnt so hard.
Back your person.
So you have to be careful. At least communicate with JP so he knows. Maybe you're doing a bracket, and JP will take whoever's deep, you're taking whoever comes in.
Back your person, girls.
But it looks like this is JP's person right here, and Josh's person came out from there.
Back your person.
I don't know where he is though. Is it this person back there?
Back your person, girls.
JP does a quick stunt.
There we go.
So over here, pipe doesn't make as much sense. We don't want to do pipe when we're close to the end zone because there's nowhere for number one to run deep. It would have been much better to hit the in this scenario. We're still developing ins as a team. Our handlers still struggle hitting them, and our cutters still struggle catching ins because they are harder to do, but they make our team so much more dangerous when we're able to do them.
You're gonna end up being handler, okay? Watching, JP. Looking up. Yeah, JP. Looking up.
So this is a nice heads up play by
JP.
JP, and so that was a good clog by Josh. So if we look at it, let's go back a little bit. Frisbee.
Watching, JP.
First thing that happens is Josh clogs, and then Thea makes a play, unable to catch it, and then JP comes off his person to get the D. There was a lot of good efforts by those three players. So over here, I wish that it was a little bit of a faster give and go. But there, that is cheeky. What JP did to this person. So JP threw it, right? Immediate swing. And he goes behind the person into his blind spot. This person doesn't know where he is. And then JP's able to blow by. Lots of space. And then who is that with the good continuation cut? That's Thea with the good continuation cut. And I see Blissey also was about to do the continuation cut, but Thea already had momentum and was able to blow past by Blissey. So Blissey could have had that, but Blissey held back, said, okay, Thea's ahead. Thea has the legs. She gets it.
Watching deep, okay? Okay, okay.
Okay, so over there I see
Watching deep, okay?
Michael. So, Michael, your person puts a move on you and it creates a lot of separation. So, Michael's over here, gets really close. We usually don't want to get super close to our uh, assignment unless there's a certain reason. There's certain scenarios where it's okay, but in this scenario, it doesn't because he sets a move on you where he attacks your shoulder for an in cut. So he's shuffling, shuffling, attacks, one step, two step, your hips turn, and he takes off deep. And he sets like 3, 4, 5 meters on you. And then luckily he doesn't pull it in. But we want to set up properly so we don't get burnt by that. And then throw in front. That's a bad mistake, right? The fact that Lucas had to come back and get that, Lucas did a good job pulling that in. But we have to make sure that we're throwing it in front. Good job going to the break side. So Esther, we always talk about how with your speed, it's hard for you to do these longer setups, longer cuts without a setup. Especially since there was no setup on it, you just kind of blew by on the first step. But then top speed is more of a struggle. So when we're a player with a low top speed, we want to beat them on the initial step and get hit early. The longer we run with a low top speed, the more likely it is for our defender to overtake us. So you were open, and then about here, probably not anymore. Um, so as a handler, if you see someone open with a low top speed, the best way to get them to be able to hit them is to hit them early. And then we have someone like Vincent who has a higher top speed, who's continuously able to make more and more separation. They are easier to hit for handlers. So for a handler who is a higher for a handler who has a lower level of throwing skill will have a hard time throwing to players with lower top speed because they feel less open and they don't know how to hit them. But as you advance as a handler and you want to learn how to use these players, you have to hit players with a low top speed early because that's when they have their separation. I like over here, you see Justin, he's about to make a continuation cut, but he sees that Michael is going and bails and lets Michael work. Unfortunately, Michael is one of those players with a low top speed. And because of that, even though Michael has separation, look, he has separation, he's running, he has a low top speed, he gets caught up to. And that's what I'm talking about with Esther. Esther and Michael are players with lower top speeds. So if they're in a running battle, the longer the run lasts, the more likely the defender is able to get the D. So when does this running battle start for Michael and his player? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was a battle about 6 stalls, right? Most of the time, if you're a slower defender, you need to beat them within 1 to 2 seconds and be hit within 1 to 2, maybe 3 seconds. Because the longer that race goes on, the more opportunity a faster defender has to close speed on you. And that's why athleticism is so important. There's always reasons behind why we're not receiving the frisbee and why we turn the frisbee over, right? So it's like, oh, what are those reasons? What can I do right now to fix it? And what can I do in the future to fix it? How do we make more separation? We put a move on them. How
That was
can
just
we
close to
get
the
more
goal.
separation in the long term? We need to build more
I don't know how
speed.
much I trust it. Ooh. Read it, read it, read it.
So over there, you see Justin throwing it to Michael, but it was a little bit too far in front that it started going into the cutter section. So the cutter section is around here, right? Let's say we want to throw it to Michael while he's still in the handler area. What can Michael do here? Michael, instead of cutting up the field this way, could have done an up line, and that allows your line to not cross into the handler area. And Justin could have, instead of hanging it out so much, just thrown it with a little more touch so it doesn't hang so much. I don't know why they pushed each other.
No break.
Watch Steve, watch Steve.
Oh,
Oh, I
shut
don't
it
know
down,
what happened
Lucas.
there.
Away, away. Oh, broke it. Okay. You got this, Kendra. Oh, just.
Oh, so over there, whoever threw it, Lucas underthrew, right? Should have thrown it further. And then by the time Kendra reads it, so over here, she's reading it, realizes, oh, it's short, flips her hips, but then you start backpedaling a little bit to regain. So that's footwork, right? So that's footwork and stability. Are you able to run, sprint deep, and flip your hips, get your feet under you, and run in? And it looks like there's a little bit of a struggle. I don't know if you're still reading, but let's say you had a perfect read on it. The inability to get your feet under you and do that tight turn made it a struggle to come in. And then Justin actually Justin actually gets the defense on Kendra. Yeah,
Oh, Justin got in the way.
it's
Nice
okay.
bonus throw. Get Harvey, get it back.
At least Justin's getting that dog in him. But if you're going to do that, at least pull it in.
I just stood there. I didn't know it was.
Yeah, that's not a good upline, Lucas. That's too shallow. So earlier Michael didn't do an upline and it was too wide. Now this one's too shallow. This one's better. A little bit too wide. And then look, it curves the wrong way. It curves away from Michael. It should have curved towards him. But also again, that top speed, right? Oh, it's harder to throw to Michael because the top speed isn't there, right? If we threw to
Step
someone
backhand though, step
like
backhand. Good.
JP, who has a much higher
Nice
top
play.
speed, he'd be able to get that, even if the throw wasn't very good. So this is always what I mean by earning your touches, earning your catches, earning your playtime. Remember,
Wait,
I
wait,
came
wait, wait,
from
wait.
almost getting cut off the team because I was so unathletic, so bad. That sideline person who didn't pay attention. But then when I got told I was gonna get cut, I got hooked, I guess, somehow. And I
Try
put in a
center
lot of
it.
work.
Michael,
So
help
just
him out.
because you start off as a low tier player doesn't mean you stay there.
Ooh.
So over here, Justin catches it and Kendra does a continuation cut. Two issues.
Michael, help him out.
First one is Kendra, if you stayed here and then cut, you'd have more room to make your attack. Remember, we want to have space, we want to have fields to run to. But because you came, over, and then you started from here instead of from here, you had less space to do your continuation cut. And then Justin, this isn't as bad, but it takes a little too long for you to get your head up the throat. So I don't expect that of you, but a good skill is to be able to catch it, secure first. Don't catch, look, catch, secure, look. But it took a little too long for you to look upfield. And now I feel that our stack is getting too close here. We're starting to push. This is a mistake. Look, what is happening? Vincent, Michael, what's happening? No, Kendra, no. Out, out, out. And then results in a turnover. That is a first year mistake.
You could have got it to Kendrick, though. Good continuation cut, Kendra. That was great.
You too, Esther.
Force your girl in, Esther. Force your girl in.
No. Good job, Vincent.
That's nice, Vincent. Wait.
No, now Vincent, you have to get out. No double moves like that.
That's nice, Vincent. Wait.
You're not getting these small yardage.
Yeah, Lucas.
You need to leave. Okay, so let's see Kendra's continuation cut here.
Yeah, Lucas.
This is a better let's just go from there. So looking at Kendra, this is a better continuation cut, but once again the stack is a little too close to the sideline. So a stronger handler would be able to hit you, but Lucas doesn't have the outside in and the touch to hit you here. And then Justin, that is too soon.
Clear.
You don't do your continuation cut while Kendra's still in the lane. But you can't get hit now. And then Kendra, no double moves like that.
Clear. Yeah.
Yes,
And then that's better. So Vincent, Kendra, no double moves. And make sure you have space when you're doing your cuts. That was really good. And that sat on a shelf. Oh, so what happened there? Okay, so here's a mistake on my team. So right now, Chantel has the frisbee, but Chantel isn't a thrower that has the best ability to scan the field and put a throw with touch on it. So we don't want to make a forest, even for let's say JP, right? We don't want to make a forest for JP because although he has a great ability to scan and find pockets, it makes it super difficult. So why are we trying to make a forest for Chantel? We see Gabriel. Gabriel is running. Mikhail is running. And then Josh is there, right? We don't want to confuse her with this, right? And then someone else comes over there. Who is that? That is, I forgot it. Anthony. That's Anthony. No, leave this to Josh, right? Leave it to the cutter handler, and let it be easy for our players to read what's happening on the field. If there's 4 people trying to get the frisbee, I need to split my attention divided by 4. My attention on 1 is 4 times better than my attention on 4. So we don't want to make that. So that's Anthony, Michaela, and Gabriel's mistake. And then they're cheating over there. They're coming too much to the center. Okay, good. Good job, Anthony. We'll be relying on you to do that more.
Looking. Don't break. Looking
So,
deep.
do we know what is meant by looking? So, when we say looking, especially if we attach it to a name, let's say I say, is this Van? Let's say Van. Van, looking. That means the handler is looking to throw to your person. So you need to play harder defense. Or usually when we say looking, in a general term, that means they're looking deep, right? They're gonna throw it deep. So watch out for the deep throw. So if I say it to a person, maybe this is Joanne back here. Joanne, looking. Joanne, expect that it's gonna go deep, and that's exactly what
Oh
happens.
my
It goes deep.
Watching that girl.
god.
Up.
We let him get one?
Ooh, gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, good.
Wait,
Just be careful.
Pipe.
So
wait.
that's one of our bigger mistakes.
Ooh, gotta be careful with that.
We should be cutting now. Like, where's the cut? This is don't wait for a call. Why do we do calls? We do calls when we pick up and want you to do a certain thing. We do not make calls mid play. We only make a call at the beginning of a new possession. So, turnover, calling ice, that's what we're going to start with. But as soon as there's movement, there's no more plays, you just move. So,
Wait.
stall one, stall two, stall three, stall four. It took four stalls for someone to start moving. And now we don't have options, right? Although we get
Run
it,
from line.
we have less options. We have to look for the first thing rather than cycle one, cycle two, cycle three.
Oh, Chelsea has to give him a leash.
Weird sidestep by the offense.
Nice, Mary. Look behind.
Tiago, why are
Look
you backing
behind.
your person so much? Is this a deep threat? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's one of the players who's been throwing.
Be big on that mark. Up.
Who's that? Nobody.
Kill is ruthless.
What happened?
I'm a lot of cutters.
Oh, Chantel, even though it's frustrating, sports are frustrating. Don't show it until after.
Making the sound effects for the content.
Oh, these girls are throwing for the content.
If I,
Up.
if I was the editor, I would add my sounds.
I haven't done a highlight reel in a while. I need to do a highlight reel for this one.
Up.
Oh my god.
Oh. That was kind of funny. I know. It's like,
It happens.
that's me. That's me when I throw. Yeah,
Ooh.
let's go.
Even got that after the poach. The girl who was on Mary did a good
Yeah,
job
let's go.
poaching it.
Hold on.
Oh, Nathan.
Who's that?
Next time.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
a little low, but Gabriel pulls it in.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, that one was
Yeah.
not a good route by
Come on,
Tiago.
continue. Look at game.
Ah, ah.
Oh my god, I remember Justin popping off here. Where's the cheers? I'm not even breaking it down anymore, I'm just reacting. Let's see.
My storage is full.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's next.
Because I forgot to take it out of. Yeah,
Nice,
Joanne!
Joanne. So that's
Mine's
why
next.
having a heads,
Because I forgot
being aware of
to
the
take it
field,
out
and
of.
having a
Yeah,
heads up play.
Really?
Look, if you see
Mine's
Joanne,
next.
Joanne is moving this way. Her momentum's following her person. But then she looks up, sees it, and is able to get the opportunity to spike it down.
because I forgot to take it out of. Yeah, Joanne!
So having your head on a pivot, always scanning the field, is a huge skill.
It's okay. I'll record for you.
Ice, ice, ice!
Yo.
Anthony, fill in! Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary!
Yeah, there wasn't much to do. That was just a Hail Mary. So let's talk about what should have happened.
Ice!
So, what's the call?
It's okay. I'll record for
Okay,
you.
first of all, Lucas, why did you pick Lucas, don't pick it up. Stall 1, stall 2, stall 3, stall 4, stall 5. No one starts moving until stall 5 because you picked it up early. Don't pick it up while people are running to the stack. Okay, so over here, ice. Vincent, you're 5. You need to cut the opposite way of 4. 4 chooses, 5 reacts. So 4 is Joanne. Joanne chooses. You run past her, and now she's like, what is happening? There's 2 people on the open side. Joanne does the correct thing and clears out. Vincent, you're in the lane doing nothing, and then you go to the
Anthony,
handler
fill in!
section,
Hail Mary,
and
Hail
then
Mary, Hail.
Anthony, you
Yo.
do a cut, but it's not a full cut. You should have sprinted to that open side. I don't know why it's curvy. That shouldn't be curvy. Um, just like something that Pat does a lot. You'll notice when we talk about Pat and how he fills well, you should be filling and sprinting to this spot to get that reset.
Anthony, fill in!
But it
Hail
doesn't look like
Mary,
you're
Hail Mary, Hail
sprinting.
Mary!
Ah, Brad!
And then when we
Hail
call
Mary, Hail
Hail
Mary, Hail
Mary,
Mary!
that's not just for the handler to hear to throw it deep. That's also for whoever's back here. All of you should hear Hail Mary and just start going deep and hoping you could catch it because that's all you have left.
Let that slime, just Hail Mary that. Lucas, and then don't pick up so fast. Wait. Anthony, wrong side, wrong side. Oh my God, wrong lead.
Yeah.
Okay, and then wrong side, Anthony. Thrower, Mark, Cutter. Anthony, why are you over here? If he's trying to throw this way, and he's trying to cut this way, why are you standing here?
Wrong side.
And then luckily you get it because that's a bad throw.
Yeah.
So not punished. But just because you're not punished doesn't mean you're doing a good job.
Yeah!
And then Kendra, good job securing that. One thing that I want you to get a little bit better at is right now you're always trying to clap catch. I want you to try to be able to catch above your head. So this person who's running at you, let's say if you caught it up let's say if you caught it up here. um,
Yeah!
come back.
Up, up!
Let's say if you caught it right there, you caught it, but then over here he gets the D, right? That small difference, that's 3 frames. One, two, three. Wait, no. Here versus one, two, three, four. 4 frames. A 4 frame difference is the difference between a clap catch and an overhead catch, right? So in those instances where they get the D because you're a little bit slow waiting for the cap catch, could feel detrimental. So just learn how to catch a little high. It's a big help.
So vertical, you'd be lining up like that. Horizontal.
One thing I noticed with Thea is when you guard, your arms tend to come behind your back over here, and it kind of looks like a flamingo, right? When we're doing the mark, let's say the thrower is right here, right? And then you're marking them with a flamingo. But in this scenario, what is easier to go from a sprint? Is it easier to have your hands behind your back and sprint, or is it easier to have your hands in front of you and sprint? And then also, if we're zoning someone up, let's say Kendra, we look bigger when we have our arms big, right? So it's a little bit scary. So there's not too much point of having our hands back here. It's much better to have them in front, right? Or if we have it one behind, as if we're in a sprinting start, that's kind of acceptable. But mechanically, this doesn't make too much sense. Oh, this is a new game. I'll pause it here. Uh, I probably won't break this one down anytime soon. Maybe I'll make a highlight reel. If you want the next one, just let me know. I'll take a little break though. Bye, guys.